Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the EUGLOH series Spotlight on Education. Today, we're going to talk about the EUGLOH Collaborative Master Initiative. Usually, we have two people from two universities talking about the same topic from two different perspectives. And today, I have the pleasure of introducing you Sara Håkansson and Sara Westman. They're both from Lund University, and they are going to run us through this initiative. Sara Håkansson will reflect on the aspects from the academic point of view, and Sara Westman will then introduce us to the more administrative aspects of the initiative. 93 people have registered for today's webinar, and we're all looking forward to listening to Sara Håkansson and Sara Westman. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you, both of you, for being here. And please, Sara, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Lorena. And here, yes, we have a PowerPoint presentation that we'd like to share with you. And what we'd like to start with is talking about the purpose of the EUGLOH Master Collaborative Initiative. So this initiative, it invites two or more master programs from different EUGLOH partner universities to collaborate on a limited module. So not a full joint program or a full joint degree, but a focused collaboration within the program's existing structures, as it were. And the aim we would like this collaboration to have is to enhance the quality of education through international collaboration, through the sharing of resources and expertise, through developing students' intercultural skills and various academic perspectives. And we think that this is important because we feel that today's students need more than disciplinary depth. They need the ability to navigate diverse academic cultures. They need the ability to work across borders. They need the ability to engage with global challenges. So this initiative then provides a structured but also a flexible way of doing these things, to combining disciplinary depth with these other transversal skills. The initiative is also, we think, a low threshold entry point. So you don't need to redesign your entire program for this. You can start with a smaller module, a shared activity, for instance, a co-supervised thesis or a guest lecture, and then you can build on from there if you feel that you want to build on from there, but you can also stay within that limited module and still have that international collaboration. So a low threshold and an entry point to start getting the ball rolling with international collaboration within your program. We should also say that, of course, the initiative is a pilot project at this stage. So we have no other examples to kind of fall back on and take examples from. So if you choose to be part of this initiative, you will also be part of a pilot, which is exciting and new, of course. So how then can various programs collaborate? And if we go to the next slide, we can see that we have various ways in which we suggest that you could do that. So there's a menu of formats here, and each format is designed to suit different needs or capacities or ambitions. And I'll walk you through them fairly briefly now, and in due course you'll be invited to pose questions about them if you need and want. So the guest lectures then is fairly straightforward. This can be a virtual guest lecture or it can be an in-person guest lecture. And it means, of course, that a teacher from one program gives a lecture or a seminar or a workshop in the partner program and bringing new perspectives and expertise into the program. So it's a very simple way of collaborating, but it can also be a very powerful and inspiring way of collaborating and a way for students to get complementary expertise from another program, but also various perspectives and these transversal skills that we were talking about. The Collaborative Online International Learning, or the COIL as we like to call it, enables students from different universities then to work together online. So this is an online component. And the students can work together through group projects, for instance, or through discussion seminars, or through various shared assignments. So it's a great way for the students to build intercultural competencies without requiring any physical mobility. And here, of course, it's up to the programs what type of assignments or shared projects they would like the students to do. The co-supervision and co-assessment means that teachers from uh, the joint programs, or sorry, not the joint programs, the different programs, either supervise or assess each other's students' theses. It can be master's thesis, but it can also be a smaller module thesis if you have that type of thesis within your program. This gives students access to interdisciplinary feedback and helps students see various perspectives, but it can also be a way for a program to bring in complementary expertise from another program if a student chooses to write their thesis on something where the expertise doesn't exist within the program, for instance. So it's also one of those ways where you can broaden and expand the expertise within your program so that students get access to more depth. The pedagogical development format is a way for faculty members to collaborate and to improve on teaching methods. They can share resources, they can address common challenges. So this development can be any type of development within the program that you would like to do together with another program. For instance, if you have a program that is similar at a partner university, you can share experiences of the challenges, but also the strengths of those programs, and develop jointly, sharing each other's and building on each other's experiences. And then the Erasmus Exchange Studies is a way for EUGLOH to support a simplified course matching to make mobility easier for students. So this can help to reduce administrative barriers for students to travel and be part of another program at the same time. And the internship opportunities then are opportunities where the programs can help students, for instance, find and secure internships in each other's countries. And also here, we can see that this could be combined, for instance, with joint supervision, so that you can build on the connection at another partner university if the student travels there and finds internship there. And this could also strengthen the ties between universities and external organizations. So you could, together with the collaboration with one partner university, you can expand and extend your connections with external organizations, for instance. So the formats that we present here, they are modular, they are limited in scope, but they are also scalable, and sometimes they could also be combined. So you could start with one, for instance, like a guest lecture, and over time you might want to expand on that when you become more comfortable with the collaboration or with the partner universities that you're collaborating with. Yes, and so if we move into the next piece of information here, the next slide, who should we collaborate with? Well, you can choose to collaborate. You're free to choose formats, and you're also free to choose partners within the EUGLOH Alliance, of course, that suit your needs. So you might work with a program that is similar to yours. You might want to share disciplinary focus, or you might want to work with a program that offers complementary competences to your program. So, for example, a program in visual cultures might collaborate with a program in digital humanities, or a public health program might partner with one in urban planning, for instance. So, might be complementary, might be similar. The focus we would like you to have, however, regardless of how you want to match, is on the students and the students' intercultural skills and enhancing the quality of the students' education. So whatever collaboration you choose to have, it should somehow contribute to the students' quality of education within your program. And so that was part of the academic content, and I'll pass on to my colleague Sarah Westman to give you some of the more operational information about the program or the initiative.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, because and just to remind to everyone who have joined the webinar to please put your questions in the Q&A, because when we're done representing the initiative, of course, we want to have your questions and want to know what we should clarify and, go into greater depth about. So write in the Q&A if you have any questions for us. So what is this going to look like? What is the timeline? What are you supposed to do and what will happen next? So the really first thing is, because now you are interested in the initiative, so the next thing is to discuss it with your fellow teachers in the program, the teams of teachers who are teaching together, also, of course, including program directors or administrative support in the program. But this is not an initiative that you as an individual teacher sign up. It is for a team of teachers that wants to collaborate with another program at another partner. So talk with them and see if they are on board, and start saying, okay, what are your needs? What are you looking for? What do you feel that you are ready to kind of do? Once you feel that the team is on board, we want the team to express their interest. We have a template on the website where you fill in some information. I will show you later what it looks like. You submit it by email to your local EUGLOH office. And we have this deadline of 1st of December, so it's less than 1 month away. What happens next is that we who are working actively with EUGLOH in the EUGLOH offices, we will take a look internally in our universities and see what kind of partner programs we can find that matches your interest and your requests and your ideas that you have expressed to us. And as Sarah mentioned, it could be, of course, that you look for something that is very, very similar, that you feel like, okay, we will probably have very kind of similar courses, similar needs, or you want to go for something that is kind of opposite, or who are teaching in very different ways, but the same program and so on. So we will do our best to see what we can find among our programs. Once we found this kind of match for you, we feel that it might be a good way to start meeting online to kind of get to know each other, identify when and how to meet, and set up an agenda for that meeting, and to have these kind of physical workshops. Because we really know and really notice how valuable it is to sit down in the same physical room and say, this is our program. This is the challenges they are facing. And this is what we are doing really, really well in our program. And how can we do to make it more interesting for us as teacher, make it better experience for the students to collaborate more. Of course, as Sarah mentioned, this is a pilot, and we want to see how you are doing so we can support you in the best way. So if we're finding matches for you now during the winter, of course, we want to have a brief progress report for you during the spring. We also need to have a kind of final report for you in the autumn. And when I say final report, I'm talking about final in the sense that you are, having set your framework, you have decided what you want to do. but the collaboration itself, it's meant to go on. That can happen continuing during 2027, 2028 and onwards, because it's meant to be a fast initial push, and then the collaboration is hopefully long-term and can run in a sustainable way. So the kind of initial development phase happening in 2026, and then the collaboration is hopefully continuing over the years. So that is the basic outline of the timeline. Of course, one is setting and questioning, what's in it for me? What kind of support will we get? Are we only supposed to do a lot of work, but what kind of help is EUGLOH providing? What will I get from my university? So what we're offering here is help and support to find this matching partner program. Because hopefully those of us working in the EUGLOH offices, we have the contacts, we know where to look for and know how to approach the programs. So this matchmaking is one way you get support. We also heard from our academics who've been involved in developing this initiative that the administrative support to kind of set up these initial workshops is something that's going to be useful for you. Because we know it takes a lot of time, even though it's a 2-day workshop, not a long time, but to find the dates, book the venues, set the program, do the structure, have the registrations, make sure that the coffee arrives, this kind of thing is also something to support you with. The funding that will be assigned to each of these partner programs, these matches, it's 10 mobilities for the 2 programs for like 2-day workshops. And this is meant to be very flexible. So if you want, if Alcalá, for example, is collaborating with Lund, it might be that 10 professors from Alcalá are coming to Lund for 2 days. It might be that first 5 professors come from Lund and then 5 from Lund go in the other direction. Or other kind of combination, because we really believe that the teachers, they know best how do you want to do it. It might be 2 persons traveling 5 times, it's really what you find is best. So 10 mobilities to split in any directions as you find it suiting your needs best. The reason why we're setting up this initiative, as Sarah explained, is to work with internationalization in a strategic way and to really make use of the internal resources that we all have at our universities to make sure that internationalization goes into the everyday life of teaching and learning. So another support get is to kind of get support to identify these internal resources that exist in your institution. For most of us, it might be help to see how can we use Erasmus, either for guest lectures or for staff exchange or for the student exchange, doing full semesters abroad or doing Erasmus blended intensive programs. For our Hungarian colleagues, it's Pannonia who is the option. It might also be that your teaching and learning centers can support you in this process. The student affair offices might be needed to be involved, especially if you are talking about co-supervision or co-assessment. It might be good to reach out to them, or to get support in what you're allowed to do within your syllabus and the course plan that exists. So you don't do something that is illegal or against the local legislations. So it's, of course, the international relation offices also have a lot of experience on how to collaborate and what other kind of options we have. And we think that by using existing resources and to channel them, we get things that can live kind of outside of the alliance and the project periods and being dependent on funding in different ways. So that's the idea from it. What we also heard from other types of EUGLOH collaborations and initiatives that we've been initiating is that teachers really tend to appreciate to have this kind of push to say, this is a project, here's a starting point, you have to do a progress report and a final report, and there's a deadline for you. This is the time to do it, and these are the kind of limitations. So even if it's very flexible, as Sarah described, we still have, some kind of limitations. And to work in a project format kind of gives you sometimes the energy and this kind of a little bit of outside initiative to actually make things happen and to go through forward and follow up on it. So we hope that is a support for you as well, that we are pushing you a little bit when it comes to the timeline and the reports and so on. So that's kind of what one can expect from being part of the program. Just going through very briefly here, what kind of information is required from you by the 1st of December. It's all kind of basic here, but it might be good to dive into some parts of it. It's good to know the level of the program. And here we know it looks very different in different partners. It might be that you have a 5-year program and the final 2 years are at master level. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Describe that, say that. It might be that you have a 1-year program. It might be, we all have different structures here. Some universities have plenty of programs with the English as the language of instruction. Of course, it's possible to collaborate between a French-speaking program and a German-speaking program, as long as the students are comfortable in collaborating in English and the teachers are comfortable in doing it. So the flexible format allows programs to collaborate and teams of teachers to collaborate, even though you might have different language of instructions. And it might be a very good way for you to work together and to kind of dive into this. We want to know how big the programs are. It might be good to see some kind of, perhaps a good balance in it to have this information. Probably you have a program structure and course details on your website, just a link for that. And also your ideas of where you think it would be a good place to start for your collaboration. So just a few details on where you think it's going to be started. You might have some ideas already. What kind of programs you want to collaborate with. Also saying which focus areas your program is addressing, because the Alliance is working within 4 different focus areas, and it's good to see if you are within these 4 different focus areas or if you are into something else. So just to make it easier for us to map this. What kind of practical support you need from administrative staff members. Also, if you have been working a lot with international collaboration in education in your program, and also kind of other questions, special requests or special requirements, your ideas. So this kind of brief template, it's meant to be a starting point just for us to see a little bit how we can do the matchmaking. And just to conclude this, so next steps for you. Discuss with your fellow teachers in the program. Make sure that the team is on board, so you have an understanding in your department what you're doing. It might be good to give a hint to your head of department as well what you're up to. Send the application by the 1st of December. Then we will do our part of the job, looking for a match. Your job will be to wait to see what kind of interest we can find among the other 8 EUGLOH partners. And also, just giving you a bit of heads up here that if you don't make it to the 1st of December, or you want to sit back a little bit more and discuss more internally, or you're waiting for some kind of process, we've already set the next deadline. So if you miss the 1st of December, you can spend the Christmas, contemplating about this and submit your interest on the 1st of February 2026 instead. And also, if you don't want to volunteer right now and say, we want you to look for a match, well, it might also be that you are approached later because someone else has submitted their interest and we are reaching out to you and saying, well, we have this program. They are looking for a similar program. You seem to be very much in line with what they are doing. So it might be that you are getting approached by us and say, okay, we have someone here who would like to collaborate with you. So that could also be a way to do it. So meant to be fairly simple. I mean, even though we are an EU-supported project, we are trying to keep the bureaucracy to a minimum, but still make it work and to see that we get good quality and long-term collaborations out of this initiative.
Well, thank you very much. You'll have to excuse me because I was so much looking forward to listening to what Sarah Håkansson and Sarah Westman had to tell us that I totally forgot to introduce them to you. They're both involved in the work package Transnational Teaching and Learning at Lund University. Sarah Håkansson as academic leader and Sarah Westman as as manager of the work package at Lund University. So sorry about that, but as you have seen, they know everything about all the aspects. You cover a lot in almost half an hour, and there are lots of questions, most of them regarding to the matching part, which is, I think, the aspect that is more, I don't know, complicated about the collaboration. So what do you think? My first question, I mean, there are a couple of questions. I think some of the questions already got answered with your part of the talk, Sarah. But I mean, what do you think are the requirements of the EUGLOH teams at the different universities in order to promote this matching? I mean, is there anything else we can do at the universities to try to help our academic or even administrative staff to come up with this relationship, like to really foster this first steps of the collaboration? What would you say?
Yeah, of course, we are very excited for the 1st of December to come and to see what first brave programs that will be volunteering and, putting themselves out there to kind of get a match. And it's only by then we can see what we are going to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no guarantee that we can't promise anything. Because, it might be that you have very special requests. It might be that it's only 2 or 3 other partners that have an almost similar program, and they might say that, oh, we're not interested at this point. So of course it might be that not everyone who wants to be in can be in at this point. So we're not promising anything in that. We hope we will be able to make it. And we also say, what we are saying here that, well, if we have 2 programs who say that, well, we are willing to start discussing, we have the intention to making this work. We want to get to know the other program, the other teams better. Well, it might be that you are meeting, you're sitting down in a room, and you kind of find out that, well, it's very little that we can do at this point. EUGLOH is meant to be a bit of a test bed and a laboratory for international education. So, of course, you can't commit and promise that it will actually be a success. You're given the opportunity to try. You're not committing a promise to succeed. I think from experience from quite a few years now working with EUGLOH that people are doing really well. They are, finding ways to collaborate, and it's surprising how well actually these kind of collaborations are going. But yeah, it's a pilot, it's a test.
Definitely. And yeah, you cannot commit to it being a success, but you can, I'm sure, from all the people I know within EUGLOH, what you're committed is to support and help.
And you are
So
making investment in the
yeah,
collaboration, of course. So
that
you
is
want
very,
it to be rewarding, and also keeping this kind of flexible format that teachers might start with going for 1 or 2 or 3 different ways, and then in more long term they say, well, perhaps in a couple next year we can start working on this or that.
we have loads of questions in the Q&A, so I'm just going to go one after the other. For example, there's a question, could it be an extracurricular course or class or activity, or does it have to be within a subject, like a regular subject in a program? Could it be something you do like besides? Maybe Sarah Håkansson can help us with that.
Yes, well, I think yes and no. It is a pilot, and of course, we're open and flexible to if there are other formats that you would like to collaborate within. At the same time, it's a pilot that we would hope starts off long-lasting, sustainable collaborations. So if the extracurricular activity is something that is a temporary thing that students are not committed to doing within, a controlled format, then that might not be a long-lasting, sustainable way of collaborating. So a little bit yes and no on that question there. I think that perhaps if you write an application and explain what the extracurricular is, if it is a part of a program that students are committed to, but maybe not credit bearing, but still part of the program, then of course we can assess that. So not a very straight answer there, but it has a contextual bearing, I think.
Mm. And we also know that we differs quite a lot between the 9 universities that are in EUGLOH in how easy it is to develop a new course, a credit-bearing course, for example. At some partners, it takes a lot of time, a lot of bureaucracy. For others, it's more easily done. But we are trying to kind of steer away from these things that are more difficult to do in collaborations. And rather see that, well, doing a COIL, for example, where you take 2 existing courses that might have independent projects where students collaborate online and each teacher do the assessment of their students. Well, that's a way to kind of do something that's meaningful and collaborative, but can avoid this bureaucratic work that has to go into it otherwise.
Thank you very much. There's another question about information, where to find information. And this person wonders whether there is a website within EUGLOH where you can find all the programs listed that are open to collaboration. I suppose this will happen perhaps after you get all this manifestation of interest, like proof of interest after the 1st of December. I don't know if you're thinking of that, if you're going to publish all programs or just a website where, no.
So the idea is that, I mean, you submit your interest by email. So if I get, I don't know what, for example, we should take a program in a master in biology, general biology, or I don't know if we even exist, but then we will actually do it kind of manually to reach out to other master programs that matching their profile, to look at Paris-Saclay or look at University of Hamburg or LMU in Germany, in Tromsø, at UIT, whatever, and directly contact the people responsible for these programs. So it's not like we're going to publish a list of the volunteers. It's actually going to be made, like a person-to-person thing.
So they have to do this part of the research of looking in in each of the universities
we are doing
to
it.
find.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of course, we could mention that on EUGLOH, we have this tool as well, EUGLOH Connect. as an alternative, if you're looking for, partners to do a new course or other guest lectures and so on. But that is more, collaboration by collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's another way to do it. But
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's good that you mentioned that this tool already exists, EUGLOH Connect, where you can also find a matching partner for the course you want to collaborate with. I don't know if everybody is aware of the existence of this tool. We should, but maybe we're not yet. Thank you, Sarah. Also, there is a question. I think this would be more for Sarah Håkansson, maybe. Could the collaboration exist only at a single course to course level, or has it really have to have the aspiration of becoming a collaborative master?
Again, it has a little bit to do with the sustainability and the long-lasting collaborations, which are often easier to do within a master's program. For single courses, we have other calls. We have other ways of supporting single courses, and those calls are come out several times a year. And they support courses working together on any part of these formats as well. So yes, you can collaborate supported by EUGLOH for single courses that are not part of a master's program as well, but it might not be in this call. It could be in any of the other calls that target courses from EUGLOH.
Thank you, Sarah. I think this also answers the next question, which is, does this program overlap with the other call related to seed money? Okay, so there are several calls, and depending on which sort of collaboration you want to attain, you should apply for one call or the other. I hope this answers this question. There's also a question about, yeah, sorry.
Could I just add that one of the apart from having the purpose of supporting and initiating collaboration between programs and partners, this particular idea also stems from the fact that when we have calls for joint programs or joint degrees, it requires a great commitment from both partners in order to take that on. It's a great deal of work, and it's a huge commitment to work together on a joint program. What we wanted to do here is to give a low threshold for programs to start working together without taking on that major commitment. So you start working together, so you start getting to know each other without committing to something, but you kind of work up a relationship. So that's why this is called the master initiative rather than single courses. So it's a different type of call, but yes, it overlaps in many ways when it comes to how we collaborate with the single course calls.
Yeah, I don't know if you would agree, but maybe the ideal step of the collaboration would be perhaps like a module in a master's program, for example. That would be maybe a way to start, and then maybe to increase the collaboration with other modules, or
exactly.
See what happens.
Starting small together.
Starting small.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know, Sarah, if you wanted to add anything?
Yeah, no, I just want to kind of emphasize what Sarah is saying, that I think that once you sit down in a room and start discussing your program, you will find that some things will be not that difficult to do. I mean, Sarah mentioned that supporting one's students to find courses for doing exchange studies at the other partner. Well, everything is all the mechanisms are really there. So it's really about having the knowledge, saying, well, these are the courses that are open for incoming exchange students at our institution that might be suitable when you have this kind of profile. And whenever you are discussing what courses you have and the structure of your program, of course, you're also talking about how do we do when we teach. So you kind of have that kind of pedagogical development in there. and also, I mean, how you're connected to the kind of local ecosystems, regardless if it's companies or laboratory facilities or NGOs or, you know, museums or other universities and so on. You kind of get this, you know, a little bit of access to each other's contacts, or you might come up with ideas for research you want to do together as well. Of
Yeah.
course, not the purpose, but once you start talking, you know, it's usually not ideas that are lacking, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Sarah. Yeah, that if you sit down with someone in a room or a group of people in a room, loads of ideas will come up, and definitely something that would be beneficial for everyone. There is quite a sensitive question here about inequality among students. Like if you have a group of, say, 20 students, and not everyone can, for example, go on an Erasmus, like to travel to other universities, would that be maybe, I don't know, unfair for the group, for these students that don't have these opportunities? How could we sort of avoid those inequalities?
I think one way of avoiding the inequalities is to assess your own program in relation to the program you want to collaborate and see what would be the best format for you. If you think that there's a risk for inequality between the student group or the student tensions, then the Erasmus exchange might not be the best format or way of going for your program. But there are other ways of including all of the students. So I think that this is an assessment that each program coordinator, teachers or professors need to do at their own discretion.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there any minimum or maximum for students, like number of students? Is there a minimum we should attain for, or a maximum? No.
No, we don't have those limitations.
Okay, very good.
And of course, if you have a very, very small program, it might be very valuable to, you know, for them to work with students from another university, and the teachers might benefit a lot from it. And if you have a very big program, well, also, that is also the case. Well, then you can learn from someone else and do something as well. I just want to add, when we talked about Erasmus exchange for students, that, well, some programs have kind of mobility windows. You have a semester with elective courses, and it's kind of easy to do exchange studies. But there are very few programs that have mandatory mobility. It's never going to be like 100% of the students are expected to go and live abroad for a semester. I mean, we want to encourage it, but it's not always possible. But for those who want to do it, to be able to support them and help them, of course. But it's not like we are expecting mandatory mobility for all students in the program. That's not realistic.
Thank you. I think that helps a lot. There was also a question about, in relation to different levels, between if the collaboration could happen at bachelor, or PhD. I mean, I think we're talking here about masters mainly.
We're talking about masters mainly, but of course the masters look different at the various partner universities. So a master's can be 5 years at one university and 2 years at another university,
I understand.
where the first years might be considered bachelor. So I think that we won't be very strict on those types of on those rules. When it comes to PhD level, however, well, if I become very formal, that's another work package altogether. But here again, PhD programs don't tend to be geared towards groups of PhDs. They tend to be geared towards single individuals. And so we don't really see the sustainable factor there if we collaborate with PhD levels.
Thank you. There's a question about financial support. Will collaborating teachers be paid by EUGLOH or by the local program receiving them?
Yeah.
Will there be any financial support for?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I mean, this, of course, is something that we've been discussing thoroughly in the task group developing this initiative, because this is a team effort. with all the 9 partners involved in these discussions on how to design the initiative. And we are not going to say that EUGLOH is going to pay for work hours for the teachers involved. It's only financial support is only to cover the costs for mobilities, for hotel and tickets, and the cost for traveling, because we want this to be an integrated part of being a teacher in a program. And we do understand that it will take time and efforts, and time is something that is always is of course limited, but it is for mobility that one is doing it. And we will be curious to see what kind of programs and teachers that are interested. It might be that there's programs who are anyway in some kind of rethinking their program or rethinking the structure, or they have to do some kind of change and they want some kind of partner in this discussion. So it might be things that are going on. And of course, as we mentioned, it might be also a way of sharing resources. We don't have an expert in this. We would like to have a guest lecturer on this or that. And then we can contribute with something else and making more efficient use of the resources that is in there.
Thank you, Sarah. I think that answers the question. There's also another question in which the talk is about programs being taught in English and that they offer a 30-credit internship. I don't know if they want to cooperate within the internship. Would that be also an option? Or just see if collaboration could happen in a different area of their program. I think because they mentioned internship, perhaps is in relation to the internship. Could an internship program be also part of this initiative?
Definitely. I think definitely an internship program could be part of this initiative, or an internship semester in the program. And I think that would, if you find another program that has an internship semester or internship module, what would happen, of course, is that you would expand your networking, which would benefit all students involved, because that would give them more opportunities. However, and I think that part of the question is also, should we focus on this or should we be open? And I think that being open to other types of formats would be beneficial for you as well, because it's not that common to see full semesters devoted to internship in various programs. So you would be limiting your scope, so to speak. So if the collaboration and the internationalization of the program together with other partner universities is your focus, then I would suggest that you stay flexible. But of course, at the same time, perhaps look at this particular part of collaborating.
Thank you. Regarding something you mentioned before about the difference in programs, in the length of programs, like, I don't know if it was Sarah Westman or you that mentioned that some master's programs within EUGLOH are 5-year long or 3 or 2. As you know, in Spain, we still have 4-year bachelor programs and then 1 or 1.5 years master's program. Could then students in their 4th year in Spain be eligible to participate in a master's program in Lund University, for example, at Lund?
I'm going out on a limb here now and saying yes. Definitely. We haven't actually talked about this, but yes, I think so, definitely. And even I would say before the 4 years, because we don't know where the different programs match, right? So you might have a module or a course within the bachelor level of a program in Spain that matches the first semester course on a master's level. So again, this is very much up to teachers to decide where they match best within the various programs.
And I think that, I mean, it could be as long as it's intentionally that the students, if they are collaborating in a course module, for example, it could be an intention that they are working in very different courses and also are at different levels. That could really be something that they learn from and experience from as well. And of course, when it comes to if we are talking about exchange studies where a student from one country goes to another one to take courses that might be part of a master program, but there are also freestanding courses open for exchange studies. There is always, course requirements, how to enter that specific course. How many ECTS do you have to have at what level in order to be admitted to the course? And that, of course, that is specific for each and every course. So there's no general answer to that.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we have time for a last question before we wrap it up. You mentioned, Sarah, a list of different formats in which people could collaborate. Which one you think would be more pedagogically meaningful for the very beginning? Like if I want just to start off collaborating with partners from one university or two different universities, maybe, which would be the best format? COILS, Erasmus Exchange, I don't know.
Yeah. I think there might be two parts to that question, because one is which would be the easiest, like which would be the lowest threshold, and I think that would be the guest lecture to start, finding connections, and professors and teachers are really good at this anyway, to collaborating with on an individual level. So I think that's easiest. But which would be most pedagogically meaningful? In your question, Lorena, I think the COILs are a wonderful way for students to collaborate with students, and of course the teachers collaborate as well. But this is where we really see, all parts of the, let we say, didactic triangle getting together. So students are collaborating with students and meeting professors from other universities as well. So from a pedagogical point of view and from a transversal skills point of view, I think that is a wonderful format to work more with.
That is a great takeaway. So I hope we see loads of proposals for COILs in the coming months, and that this initiative really has some shape really soon, some content and some things we can share. Maybe we can have another spotlight on education with very successful first initiatives. There was one question about how we proceed now. Where do we send the proof of interest? I don't know if you could maybe in one of the answers we could just give the website where faculty members or staff members can find the information they need for this initiative.
So we have this website on the EUGLOH web about the EUGLOH Collaborative Master Initiative. There you can find the template where you describe the program when you're looking for. And there's also a link where you can find the email addresses to all the local EUGLOH offices. So it's all out there.
Thank you. So please check the EUGLOH website for all the information, for all aspects regarding this great initiative. So please feel welcome to contact also your EUGLOH team at each university. They will definitely support you. Well, I think the takeaway for this spotlight is flexibility and support on the part of EUGLOH, and loads of imagination for all the members, for all the teachers, for all the administrative staff. So thank you very much again. It's been really enriching. I think we have all learned a lot, and from the questions we have read, we have been able to answer. I think there is loads of interest coming from all universities within the alliance. So really looking forward to seeing how this works in the near future. I would like to thank everybody who has participated in this spotlight for education. Please stay tuned because we will have another spotlight the 1st of December, or the first week of December, 1st of December, on film in education. So that is going to be also a very exciting topic. Thank you, Sarah Håkansson. Thank you, Sarah Westman, and thank you also Tulia Metniksson from Lund University, who's in the back office, making sure that this all works. Thank you a lot. Have a lovely day, and see you soon for more Spotlight on Education. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.